Welcome back to the Celtic Manor for the conclusion of our second semi-final of the Tour Championship. Ken Doherty and Alan McManus are alongside me tonight. We'll hear from them in a moment. First, though, with a recap of all the afternoon's action, here's Phil Yates.
It took a while for the Rocket to lift off, but the Hawk soared to great heights in leading 3-0. It was a case of total class, total clearance, twice over, as Barry Hawkins dominated the opening two frames. Indeed, a 138 installed Hawkins as frontrunner for the tournament's £10,000 highest break bonus. But O'Sullivan refused to panic. Mixing fluency with one obvious slice of fortune, he ominously drew level at 3-3. Then, direct from a perfectly struck red, O'Sullivan ran 94 to lead for the first time. But the world champion couldn't disguise annoyance after missing a vital red in the closing frame of the afternoon. O'Sullivan knew damage had been done, and so it proved as Hawkins stepped in again to tie the scores at 4-4 and set up the special Saturday night session we're about to enjoy.
What a night we have ahead of us, essentially. A best of 11 frames for a place in tomorrow's final against Neal Robertson. Alan, looking back on those opening 8 frames, what did we learn apart from if you make a mistake, you're going to get punished?
We've learned the continuation of the standard of the modern game is what we've learned. And Ronnie O'Sullivan over the last 15 years has dragged the game, not kicking and screaming, but he's dragged it out of all the other guys, and they're all starting to produce it. Barry Hawkins is another. We know he can do it. He did it straight off the bat today. 2 big tons, as Phil said, 138 best of the week. Ronnie's got a job in his hands.
It was a fantastic start, though, from Barry Hawkins. He came out so strongly.
Yeah, and he just continued the way he played against Judd Trump. I mean, Ronnie O'Sullivan didn't do anything wrong in those first couple of frames, just a couple of safety shots, a couple of long balls from Barry Hawkins, and this is the start. And this really settled him down. He didn't play this to try and go back up the ball and play it with an element of safety. Look at how confident he was, playing for the pink into the centre. Another nice pink into the middle pocket, and then that was the first frame, and a wonderful 125. I've just finished off with this nice black. It shows you how well he was came. But I just thought he settled in very well, looked very confident, looked very composed. This is another great shot. Black up into the top corner. Nice little plant as well. Yeah, he looked very cool. 50. Goes about his business very quietly. You know, he struts around the table, and another pressure shot, pink there. Not really worrying about what he was leaving, Ronnie O'Sullivan. I thought he looked fantastic today.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the shots in that run were nice to watch, because we remember the brown that he potted to win the match against Judd. That's the way Barry Hawkins plays. That's the way he goes about it. Everything he keeps samey. So when the pressure starts biting, he's able to handle it. He's playing well.
He went 3-0 up. Ronnie had barely been at the table, but when he did come to the table, he really put him under some pressure, didn't he?
He did, and Ronnie had to find some of his best stuff today to get back into this match. This was a little spark that sort of got him going. He's got 2 reds that he can play for, one to corner, one to right mid. He lands on the one in the corner, and it just sparks him into life at 3-1 down there. This is a yellow we're seeing more and more in the game at the top level. Usually it's a little dolly in behind it, maybe put the guy in a bit of trouble. Not a bit of it from O'Sullivan. Left-handed, awkward bridging, got the lot, rolls it in, gets the kiss he deserves, and off and running again. Long game then starts kicking in. He can't play in ball this when he's got to play into a small area. He finds it, and then he's brave enough to play this shot, which sneaks in off the near jaw. He deserved to go in and win the frame, and at that stage it was starting to get really interesting in terms of Barry Hawkins holding on to his coattails in the session. It
was high-quality stuff. Neither player missed a ball pretty effectively until this, and you could see the reaction from Ronnie.
Yeah, I mean, this shows you how much it sort of means to Ronnie O'Sullivan. He knew how important that particular red was. I'm not quite sure whether he had to play it with so much force, because he could have played it a little bit softer, which makes the pot a little bit easier, Alan, as well, doesn't it? But when he missed it, he knew that was his chance to go into tonight's session 5-3 up. Left the initiative to Barry Hawkins. And fair play to Barry Hawkins. Even though he was frozen out for those 4 frames, he produced a really telling sort of break in the last to level things up. So both players in fantastic form.
I've been talking about Ronnie raising the standard, which he's done over the last 10, 15 years, as I said. And I've been looking at his recent record, multi-session matches. Only one of them of the last 10 has he won at a canter, and that was a World Championship final. And that was a while ago. He's not pushing guys aside the way he used to all that often. That's why I think this match is going to go all the way this evening.
It's going to be enthralling, isn't it? Well, all week we have been running our tour test, and last night was the chance of these two pundits. Tonight it's the chance for Stephen and Neal to show us what they can do.
Neal Foulds, you have a reputation to uphold, not only as a former world number 3 and ranking event winner, but as being the king of the statisticians and historians amongst your fellow ITV pundits. Stephen Hendry, 7-time king of the Crucible.
Have you got any 80s pop music? Quite good on that.
Who's beaten John Higgins 3 times at the Crucible?
It's got to be Ken.
Must be Ken.
Alan McManus.
Oh,
Whose first ranking title success came at the Welsh Open?
that's Alan.
Oh, well, that was Ken.
It was.
I'll just say Ken to all the answers.
You're on a roll. Who won Pot Black in the only year it was played under a time format where players each had a clock that they had to stop and start?
Well, it's not me.
Well, I know who that was. That was me. And they thought that if he can win it, we're never going to do it again like that, because it's useless, the idea.
I'm not going to say it's Neal. God, it's a 50-50 again. Ken.
You're having an absolute howler here. It was Neal Foulds.
It was Neal.
Who has an impression of their hands between Madonna and Kylie Minogue on the Walk of Fame outside Wembley Stadium? Yes, Stephen Hendry.
Stephen, isn't it?
Great guess. Whose interests include the Baroque Italian painter Caravaggio? Who's
Ken.
the most cultured?
Ken.
Yes.
It's got to be Ken.
How many times combined have you 4 pundits played Jimmy at the Crucible?
18.
11.
Oh, you're so close. It's 12. Of the 4 of you, who was the first to reach the one-table setup at the Crucible?
It might have been me.
Neal.
Correct. Who played himself in the feature film Break Off, in which he took on the main protagonist in the pretend World Championship final?
That's the sort of thing Ken's all over. Has to be Ken.
Well, again, it must be Stephen, right?
No, it's Ken Doherty.
Ken Doherty can do anything. He knows about paintings, he acts. I can't believe it.
I love it. No end to your talents, Ken.
Well, wait until you see the movie first before you make that judgment. No, it was, yeah, it was. I must say, it was great fun filming at the Crucible as well. It was, yeah, and it's a really good movie actually. Break. Should watch it. Check it out.
Break Off, yeah. The one thing we've learned this week, we've learned a lot about you fellas this week, is you're the only one that's not been in a movie, and you're the one with the movie star looks. Oh.
Well, you know, I did say that to the boys backstage, but maybe there's still time, maybe just, yeah.
Let's have a look at the leaderboard then, because as predicted, angles at the top. You could have put your house on that, let's be honest. And Ken, a great student of the game, folds in there in 3rd place. And Stephen Hendry, he's going to get detention. It must try harder.
Yeah, if there's a trophy up for grabs and those 3 have got anything to do with making up the trophy, I don't want the blooming thing. Just, you know, just leave it as it is. But yeah, Stephen's got to brush up. He's got to get studying.
All right, let's just go back to tonight's match then.
Okay.
Just let's get a prediction. We think it might go long. We think it's going to be really close. But can
Yeah.
you see who's going to get into tomorrow's final?
I think it is going to be go close, and I think it's going to go 10-8, 10-9 either way. But I apologise for Barry Hawkins last night because I left his name out and I actually singled him out today. I waited in the practice room until he came in to say to apologise profusely to him, but he didn't see it anyway last night, so that was grand. So I'm going to say Barry Hawkins is going to win. How's that? There you go. There you go.
All right then.
I think Barry Hawkins might just get this. If Ronnie's going to win, I think he's going to have to produce more magic moments.
Great stuff. Look forward to that. OK, on the other side of the break then, we'll get the live action underway at Celtic Manor. Barry Hawkins takes on the world champion Ronnie O'Sullivan with a place in tomorrow's final at stake.